I remember the sound first, the slow, rhythmic beeping of the ventilator. Dad's chest barely moved, tubes everywhere, his once commanding hands now pale, motionless. I stood at the foot of the hospital bed, the smell of antiseptic biting at my nose, and realized no one else had been here for days. Mom was tagged in a photo an hour ago. BALI, champagne in hand, my brother and sister beside her, laughing, sun-soaked. Dad was dying alone. Something in me broke and hardened at the same time. Flashback. We used to be the perfect family, or so I thought. Dad built everything from nothing, a logistics empire run from his study with the discipline of a soldier. Mom managed the face of it, charity dinners, gala nights, a perfect smile that could hide knives. When I left for London to finish my degree, Dad said, "Take your time. We'll hold the fort." But the moment I stepped away, the fort started to rot. At first, the calls home were normal, then shorter, then rare, then silence. I got the first clue 6 months ago, a forwarded email from one of Dad's oldest employees, a resignation notice that made no sense. Then another, then a rumor. "Your mom's in charge now." I thought it was just temporary until I came back. The company office was different. Her perfume still lingered in the air, but Dad's portrait was gone. My brother sat in his chair. My sister handled the accounts. And Mom, she was smiling in interviews like she'd always been the mastermind. But I saw the cracks. Money vanishing in charity transfers, shell accounts in Bali, luxury invoices billed to the company, all under Dad's name. The night I found out Dad had collapsed, I drove straight from the airport to the hospital. The nurse said he'd been there for 2 weeks. 2. No visitors. The bills were unpaid. That's when I called our lawyer and then the bank. "Freeze all family accounts," I said. Effective immediately. 1 hour later, my phone lit up. 6 missed calls from Mom, 4 from my brother, 2 from my sister. Then a message. "Mom, what have you done?" "Brother, unfreeze the accounts now." "Sister, you're ruining us." "No, you already did that." I sat by Dad's bedside and watched the storm break loose from behind a glass wall. The empire they built on greed was finally collapsing. I didn't stop there. I sent the lawyer every record I'd gathered. Money trails, fake donations, the offshore accounts. Then I signed the power of attorney papers that Dad had quietly left in my name years ago. He must have known this day would come. By midnight, the company was under audit. The Bali villa seized. The charity foundation under investigation. Mom's face was on every news channel by morning, hiding behind sunglasses as reporters screamed her name. My brother and sister tried to run damage control, but you can't fight when your cards are all stolen. Present. I stood by Dad's hospital bed, his heart monitor steady but faint. The lawyer entered quietly. "They're back," he said. "They want to see him." I looked at Dad, then at the door where their shadows waited. "No," I said. "Not today." They had lost the right to stand here, to pretend they cared, to act like family. Later that night, I sat alone in the hospital corridor, the lights dim, the city humming outside. I thought about revenge. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was silence, the kind that cuts deeper than any scream. When Mom finally called again, her voice was shaking. "You ruined everything. Do you understand? Everything your father built?" I smiled. "No, Mom. I saved it from you." Days later, when Dad finally woke, weak but lucid, he looked around. "Where are they?" he whispered. "Gone," I said. And then I told him everything. He didn't say a word, just closed his eyes, and for the first time in years, he looked at peace. It took months to untangle the mess. The company survived. The family did not. Mom filed for bankruptcy. My brother fled to Dubai. My sister begged for forgiveness. I didn't. Some debts can't be paid in apologies, only silence. Now, when I visit Dad, he still asks about them. I tell him the truth every time. He nods slowly, like he already knew how it would end. And I think maybe that's why he trusted me with everything. He knew I'd have the strength to do what he couldn't. to end the rot, to face the storm, to protect what mattered, even if it meant burning everything else down. Revenge isn't always fire and fury. Sometimes it's a quiet hand signing a document, a single call to the bank, a son standing between his father and the vultures that share his blood. I didn't come home for vengeance, but when I saw what they did, I knew what had to be done. And when chaos hit like a storm, I didn't flinch. I watched it burn, because in the end, they found out who took his place. And it wasn't them. It was me, the heir they forgot, the son they buried in distance, the storm they never saw coming.